I worked for the British Foreign Office. I became a British ambassador. I was a British diplomat for 20 years. I was always very patriotic to be British. I was very, very proud. I remember when I first became a British ambassador and first went out in my own flag car with the Union Jack flying on the front as the ambassador, you know, I had a lump in my throat. It was a proud moment for me. It was only 6 months after that I discovered that in the country where I was ambassador, we and the Americans were shipping people in order for them to be tortured. And some of them were tortured to death. Now, as you may imagine, my worldview changed. It was at the same time, about a month later, we invaded Iraq against the will of the Security Council. Not just without permission of the Security Council, but in the full knowledge that if it had gone to the Security Council, we would have been voted down. And I, as a British diplomat, saw all the internal memos that went through that decision. I know for certain, I used to be head of the FCO unit that monitored Iraqi weapons of mass destruction. And I know for certain, I can tell you, that they knew there weren't any. It wasn't a mistake, it was a lie. I think it is impossible to be proud of the United Kingdom. I think when we invaded Iraq, we did to the United Nations what Hitler and Mussolini did to the League of Nations. And I think what we've done since, where the truth is often much hidden in the bombing. If you look at Libya, disaster now, we bombed it. We killed 15,000 people when NATO bombed Sirte, something they never told you on the BBC. And did we make it better? No. I saw in Uzbekistan, I saw the gas contract signed by Enron and a company called Unocal, which George Bush Sr. was on the board, to dig out gas pipelines from Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan over Afghanistan down to the Indian Ocean. That was actually what the Afghan war was about. They'd actually had talks with the Taliban and Unocal to see if the Taliban would provide pipeline security. The person who held those talks was the consultant for Unocal, who's a certain Mr. Karzai, who, after being employed by George Bush Sr. as a consultant, went on to become president of Afghanistan. That was their plan B. The Taliban wouldn't do it, so they invaded. It usually, I've seen it on the inside, it's almost always about control of resources. It is every bit as corrupt as our first speaker. I'm sorry, I'm also terrible with names. You are absolutely right, Andrew. And I can tell you it's not an academic construct. The system stinks. Westminster stinks. The British government is deeply, deeply immoral. They don't care how many people they kill abroad if it advances them. And anybody who votes no is voting to support a psychologically flawed, a pathological state, which is a danger in the world, a rogue state, a state prepared to go to war to make a few people wealthy. That's why I say it's not possible to be a decent person and vote no, and we shouldn't be ashamed to say that.